Hello, everyone, and welcome to Auto Asphyxiation. This is Lark,
And Kimberly.
and today we're going to be discussing many things. First, we want to give three cheers to the functional left, DSA, and the working families that brought Mamdani to New York. Congrats for such a great campaign. But of course, as we are critics, urban critics, we will critique you, but not today. So three cheers for you today.
We are so happy.
We're so happy and so stoked that this will be able to be like an example of what a large city can do. Well, of course we have to win. We will win the general. I'm not gonna put that in euros. We're gonna win the general. I smelled something. I smelled something like on your coattails as you were walking through Manhattan. I smelled something and okay, let me stop. I'm gonna be normal and nice. Not gonna be ill civil in this discourse. I am going to be polite. So with that, I want to talk to Kimberly because I know that you spent the weekend and you are a nurse and you were talking to Steven Zelensky, the Green Party candidate for governor of New Jersey. His whole thing is like healthcare, which is important. I'm not like limiting that, but you guys were having some discourse online. You were having a conversation, and it did not go the way we would think it would go for somebody who's running for office.
Yeah, no, I asked Stephen what I felt were really basic questions that any fringe party candidate for public office should be able to answer. We're in a constitutional crisis in the United States, and during a governor race in a crucial state like New Jersey, we do not have the luxury at this time of running a protest candidate or casting a protest vote. The European Green Party advised the U.S. Greens during the 2024 general election to support Kamala Harris. Instead, the Greens went with known Putin associate and ghost until election season, Jill Stein, effectively drawing votes away from Harris. I feel strongly that this is actually a strategy of the Green Party, and they don't have our best interests at heart. Otherwise, I think that they would have followed party leadership during the 2024 general election. I asked Stephen what experience a solar panel salesman had to lead our great state. I did state I felt he had none, and that he was not qualified, to which he responded, "Your opinion, keep it to yourself." That's a very veiled way of telling someone to shut up.
I just thought, hey, he had a chance to educate the public. Like during primaries, nowhere. He was nowhere. But now he pops up. Why?
Well,
Why? Do you
well,
think so many people wait until the general to start talking about oh, I want to have this conversation? Well, you could have had that conversation before.
Well, I also want to mention that he also questioned if I was even a registered voter in the state of New Jersey, and he told me that I had issues.
What kind of issue? What kind of issues would you have if you're a voter and you want to know what does a solar panel
Panel.
consultant who is, and I'm going by the Ballotpedia. This is no judgment. 61-year-old. He went to CUNY in something. He doesn't say what. And he's a consultant, and I've never heard of him before. Have you heard of him before?
No, I have not heard of
I
him
haven't heard of him
before.
before. He just pops up. Oh, I'm running for office. And I don't feel that your question here was there. I was on that thread and I was reading it, and your questions were reasonable, practical, especially as somebody in the healthcare field. And this is supposed to be his baby. His whole angle of his campaign is talking about medical. Well, I want to keep my medical. I want to keep a big, beautiful bill that's coming up, wants to cut Medicaid, wants to cut all kinds of services for people. And he's playing these games. And with that, let me let you talk.
I feel like I'll tell you and I'll tell our listeners I am partially disabled. So yes, I do in fact have issues. So thank you so much for being ableist in a public forum. I guess the Green Party looks at Trump and thinks his ableism has worked for him. We might as well apply that tactic.
There are so many times where I have felt the Green Party was ableist, fat phobic, this whole like, so it's not everyone in the Green Party, of course, but there's so many of them that have this idea like, oh, we don't need medicine. There are so many anti-vaxxers in it, which is like very ableist and eugenist flavored. And they're supposed to be, oh, we're this alternative. The alternative is ableist, eugenics,
anti-vax.
Yeah, I don't understand. And I remember I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. It's like, who is really benefiting from this campaign? And here's the thing. There was a time when the third party ran, and I'll tell you something, with Jill Stein, I really ignored her. I ignored her because I thought if I talked about this person, I'll be giving them more oxygen. But because of what has happened, and it's not just about the fact that, oh, you're going to take votes away. It's that they are so demoralizing. They are so effective of making people go, this system doesn't work. It doesn't work. I'm not going to even vote at all. Not that you're going to get votes, but they're so good at getting people to stay home. We felt we had to say something about their demoralizing tactics that we feel are funded by nefarious sources.
I have to agree with you. Their platforms focus on so much wrong and don't focus much on how to fix it. They don't look for hope in anything whatsoever. I feel like they really could have unified the left in New Jersey by coming out in support of either Baraka or Fulop in the primaries, both of which had very progressive platforms, very environmentally sound platforms. But instead, they chose to keep Stephen in their pocket until the last minute.
I think this is the thing that really bothers me, is that I was wondering when, with Ross or Fulop, because both of them have a very good environmental records. I was like, why isn't the third parties, whether it's the Green Party or some other unnamed party, or Peace Action, or just people on the left generally, why aren't they coming and championing Ross and Fulop? And then I realized in my own head, I didn't realize it, but I'm just like, is this because they wanted Sherrill to be the candidate so that they could educate the public on her? Like, what kind of whack job? Okay, that was an ableist phrase, but what kind of incompetent, ill-informed tactic was that? Where we had a candidate that could have been, life-changing for people in New Jersey and could have won, but because the left wanted to be, so pure, they were like, oh, I would rather fight with Sherrill than support Ross or Fulop. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I feel like the left right now is so deeply entrenched in doomerism. Like there's no hope on the horizon. There's nothing to look forward to. There's just more of nothing can be done. You're not doing it the right way. Well, I call bullshit. If somebody's not doing it the right way, you're never going to find a candidate that you align with. Go run yourself. The perfect candidate is not possible unless you run yourself.
I mean, this is the whole thing. It's like we had, a lot of people on the left in New Jersey are like, oh, yes, great, Mamdani. And the whole, like, he won he won with a coalition with DSA, Democratic Socialists, the Working Families Party, unions, grassroots people. And you could have been part of a campaign. You could have joined Fulop, you could have joined Ross, but you didn't want to because you had no hope. Now I feel like they're trying to like shape themselves as they're like, oh, see, Mamdani can do it. We can do it. You, Stephen is nothing like
No,
Mamdani. He
nothing.
he has never won a race. Am I incorrect with that? I don't know. I don't see where he's won anything.
No, he's never won a race. He's never held office in any capacity, not even like on a school board, like nothing.
So he just thinks I could just step to the front. I don't have
Yeah.
any experience. I'm a salesperson. I can step to the front and sell this. This is not about one person, Stephen. This is about the fact that the Green Party in New Jersey has literally, they're not trying to move our state to the left. They're simply trying to make a message, make a point. They don't care if they win or lose. They almost feel like they're accelerationists. Like they want they want Jack to win. And I think that this is the most important thing. This is not about just Sherrill. It's about the fact that they want Jack to win. Because if Jack wins, if you're an accelerationist, then people will suffer more. And the theory is they'll rise up and do what? It's ludicrous and a fantasy fairy tale, but this seems to be their strategy. And I'm just disgusted, especially too, you as a, as a New Jersey, what's the term? New Jerseyite? New Jersey.
New Jerseyite, I think.
Yeah. A person from New Jersey, raised here, you were asking their candidate questions. And not only did he tell you, not only did he make an ableist comment towards you, did he dismiss you, he deleted the entire conversation so that no one else could even see what you were talking about. This the kind of, education, this is the kind of outreach that they're doing with the Green Party, either agree with us, agree that everything sucks, that we're going to lose, the duopoly is horrible. And if not, we're just going to delete your comments.
I think that's a very MAGA tactic that they're employing. That's really what MAGA does. They turn things back around on people. They delete comments to make somebody look like an absolute fool. I took many screenshots, so I will not be made a fool of. Thank you very much. And I have to agree with you. I think that this is absolutely accelerationist. I think they absolutely want MAGA in New Jersey so that they can bring about their fantasy revolution.
And this is the whole thing. I mean, they're like, oh, Sherrill's a fascist. She's this, she's that. I am really sick of the sexism that's going on in New Jersey. It seems like the only time that the left or the third party or anybody wants to critique people is if they're women, if they're people of color. And here's the thing. I don't have a problem with you doing that, but it seems like if it's a white man who's a Christian, you have no commentary. You got nothing. But Sherrill, here's the thing. They're literally trying to take away our rights. Do we want Jack in there? Do we want Jack? If we're in the middle of a war.
We are absolutely in the middle of a war. We are in a constitutional crisis, and our state is very vulnerable. Our state, our public transportation, our schools, our public services, children and the most elderly in our communities are going to literally die, and this is not hyperbole because it's already happening. They are going to die if Jack wins and MAGA is able to enact their plan here. The safety of trans people, people of reproductive age, immigrants are at deadly risk in this election. We require a calm-headed leader with experience in wartime to lead us through a constitutional crisis and make sure that our state is kept safe.
And Sherrill will do that. I'm confident that she will do that. She has been a competent leader in District 11, which she's my councilwoman. Primary is when you have discourse. And just like I expect for Mamdani, I expect in New York, I expect people to rally around him, the Democratic Party, because that is who won the primary. I expect the same thing with Sherrill. She won the primary. Just literally support her for the general. I don't understand what the problem is. I don't understand how people don't understand how this political system works. Okay? We have a primary. You have your little fisticuffs conversation at that point. And then the general, we all rally around whoever won. Now, every state's not going to be the same. So, like, yeah, the person who you wanted to win in New Jersey, maybe they didn't win. But again, like we said, on the third party, the left, it seems like they wanted Cheryl to win. So they could do this. But, you need to rally around the person that can win. If you're part of some fringe left like party with two people in it, you're not going to win. Thing with New York, they're playing little games with Mamdani. He won the primary. You set the rules. Support the person that the people supported. Yes, I get it. You might not like him. That doesn't matter because that is who got the votes.
The people have spoken.
Yeah, support the candidate. Here's the thing. Whether that person's a centrist or the left, people are like, well, the stupid vote blue no matter what. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't mean to say, okay, ignorant, vote blue no matter what. This is, yes, we're there now. I hate the fact that we're there now, but we cannot mess around with getting more people kidnapped and sent to internment camps or concentration camps in El Salvador. I'm sick of this, and I'm sick of these people who are kind of like, let's just go to the total extreme, and then people will rise up. No one has risen up yet.
No, and it's the status quo. I'm sorry, and yes, I have had to grow to this position my own self, but the status quo right now is better than concentration camps and A Handmaid's Tale. Unless that's what you want. Unless you need to fulfill some dystopian fantasy that you've been maladaptive daydreaming since high school.
And that's the whole thing. And I think that's the thing that I'm really kind of just, I always want to say, and here's the line I want to tell, like, Stephen, I know Mamdani, and you are no Mamdani. To quote, I forgot his name, but I remember he told that to Quayle because he was like, "Oh, I'm like Jack Kennedy." You're like, "You're no Jack Kennedy," and I forgot who it was who said it. But I feel like saying that to Zelensky because I feel like he's kind of like, "Yeah, I'm like Mamdani." No, you're not. You're not. You're running. You've never run a race. No one knows who you are. You're simply running to kind of capitalize on New Jersey's sexism. And in this case, sexism and racism. And, we're going to put it out there, a little bit of anti-Semitism. You're going to capitalize on that so that you can kind of draw enough votes away so that Jack can get in. So then guys can go, see, it doesn't work. The duopoly has, made it. If we had just run somebody more left, we had somebody more left. You didn't want them. You didn't want them because you wanted to run this piece of trash that you got from the trash can. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. Sorry, Stephen. I was just thinking, I was just talking I was just being dramatic. I didn't mean you were trash. I didn't mean that because I wouldn't say something like that about individual person. I'm a nice person and I'm not ill civil individual. But what I'm just trying to say is that we are in an emergency. Do people seem like they understand that?
It seems like people don't. We're like, I will say it yet again. I think I've said it twice before. We are in a constitutional crisis in the United States. And making sure that we have some kind of democracy left in New Jersey with a Democratic governor is one way that we can protect New Jersey citizens so that we can fight back against the federal ramifications as a community. And I'm sorry, you can't compare him to Mamdani, who at least had comptroller experience. This man has no qualifying experience to lead us. He doesn't have the charisma. He doesn't have the community reach. And he will never gain it by telling women to shut up and that they have issues in a public forum.
I'm like this. I want peace. I want a stable state of justice free from violence. I want to use nonviolence as a pathway, as a strategy to get there. But here's the thing. I didn't ever say I was anti-war. I'm like this. I will fight you. I will fight for this country. I will fight for New Jersey, which is my home now. And if you try to mess that up, we're going to have a problem with that. I mean, I'm going to have a problem with it. I don't know if Kimberly's going to have a problem with it, but I will have a problem with it. I am offended that you would dare to run an election during this time when we are in so much danger. What are you planning on doing? You have no strategy. You have no tactics. You have no chance of winning. How are you going to educate the public? You're going to educate the public on health policy, because that's his thing is health. How? Are you a nurse? Are you a doctor? No, you are a solar salesperson. So what are you going to educate the public on? Because I know you're driving around, Stephen. We know you're not taking the bus or riding your bike. So what are you educating us on? What is your expertise or your skill level in order for you to educate us on if this is an educational campaign? I think both you and you, Kimberly, I think both of us have more skills and capability to run an education campaign than this person that they just picked out of the air.
I have a tendency to agree with you, especially when it comes to health and public health policy. I think that my 16 years of experience as a nurse far outweighs solar panel sales experience as far as health policy goes.
Exactly. And like I said, I admire people who want to run for office. I think that's great. But I'm just like in my own head, we're in a bad situation right now. We're in a bad situation. And like I said, for a long time, I just ignored this kind of thing because I just thought it would go away. But seeing how, because the thing is that statistically, the data shows that, third parties don't really, can't really win or even take votes away. But something they can't necessarily calculate is the demoralization that third parties can do. And also the situation where they can distract from things that are going on, such as like in New York, when there were districts that the Democratic representative won, but then Harris got 0 votes. And we were led to believe, well, that's just because they hated her. and they wanted Jill Stein. They didn't want somebody. It's like, wow, that made no sense. But the thing is that because the Green Party was so amplified, it made a argument that was illogical seem, that could be plausible. And then it wasn't plausible. And I'm concerned about the sanctity of the New Jersey election, especially when we know Trump is going to be dumping billions of dollars into here, and essentially anyone who doesn't care, because anybody who's in acceleration, they don't care where they get the money. Because the whole point is we need to destroy democracy so we can destroy capitalism. So they don't care if they get the money from Trump, if they get the money from Putin, they don't care. As long as they get the money and they can disrupt, that's their whole thing. So, I mean,
they have a long track record of doing such. Like, there's like, while like we can mince words about data and things like that, they have a very long track record of demoralizing voters and making people seem like everything is hopeless.
Exactly. And with that, we're going to wrap it up. Is there anything else that you would like to say, Kimberly?
Vote for Sherelle, because she's the best person right now to take us through this constitutional crisis. And yes, we need a war hawk to do that.
Yeah, and I know you guys are like kind of like, I don't want to hear that. Well, you need to hear it, okay? Because I'm not really into the whole Handmaid's Tale. I don't really want to like get my rights taken away, have to go to my husband in order to get things done. That's not something that I want to happen. Because the thing is that you got to put your own oxygen mask on before you can save other people. I know some of you don't understand that because some of you are masochists and you like the whole idea of being like subservient. Well, I do not. All right. And so that's just too bad. Too bad. Me and Kimberly, we're going to fight for us. We're going to fight for New Jersey. We're going to fight for the United States because it's, here's the thing. We're in situations, either us or them. And it's going to be us.
Us.
All right. And with that, have a good night, and good evening or good morning, wherever you're listening to this. We don't know when you're listening to it, but
Thank you for listening.
here's the thing: the